6 months after the first alien ships appeared in Earth's skies, the Zephyrian Empire faced complete military collapse as their invasion of a single deathworld had cost them 3/4 of their entire fleet. Admiral Zorteth reviewed casualty reports that showed losses exceeding the worst defeats in Empire history, while human resistance continued to capture alien vessels faster than replacement ships could arrive. The simple invasion that should have lasted weeks had become a military disaster that threatened the stability of Zephyrian civilization across multiple star systems. Commander Vexithara now found himself a prisoner aboard his own former flagship after human forces had captured the vessel using biological weapons that contaminated life support systems. Captain Lucy Chen, who had been promoted to Admiral of Earth's improvised space fleet, interrogated the alien commander, hoping to understand how such an advanced civilization could fail so completely. Vexithara finally understood the terrible truth that his people had missed during their initial survey of this seemingly worthless planet. Humans were not dangerous, despite living on a death world, but because they lived on a death world where every single day represented a struggle against an environment that would kill most galactic species instantly. 4 billion years of evolutionary pressure had created the ultimate survivors who treated impossible odds as normal circumstances while viewing advanced alien technology as interesting puzzles to solve. Admiral Chen commanded a fleet consisting entirely of hybrid human-alien technology that demonstrated humanity's terrifying ability to improve upon any challenge through adaptive innovation. Her ships carried biological weapons based on Earth microorganisms that could consume alien technology, while human crews operated in vacuum conditions that would terrify most civilized beings. The final assault on Zephyrian positions in the outer solar system began when human forces detected the main alien fleet attempting to establish a defensive perimeter around the asteroid mining operations. Sam Rodriguez led the space assault using captured alien fighters modified with Earth technology that performed better than original designs because human engineers understood hostile environments. His pilots included former astronauts, construction workers, and test pilots who had learned to operate alien spacecraft by treating them like any other piece of dangerous equipment. The space battle demonstrated that human adaptability extended far beyond planetary warfare, as Earth crews outmaneuvered alien forces using tactics that exploited every environmental advantage. Zephyrian commanders discovered that humans could function in space indefinitely using captured vessels while showing no fear of radiation levels that would panic most galactic civilizations. Dr. Hannah Brooks coordinated the biological warfare campaign from her orbital laboratory aboard a captured alien science vessel that had been converted into a weapons research facility. Her team had developed bacterial strains specifically designed to target Zephyrian technology while leaving human equipment completely unaffected by the aggressive microorganisms. Each successful deployment of biological weapons caused cascading failures throughout alien fleets, as Earth bacteria consumed everything from hull plating to computer circuits. The Zephyrian retreat became a rout when their own defensive systems began failing due to biological contamination that spread through their ships faster than damage control teams could respond. Admiral Chen received intelligence reports indicating that human forces had pushed the aliens completely out of the solar system while capturing enough technology to begin interstellar exploration. The decisive moment came when human reconnaissance detected the location of the Zephyrian homeworld through captured navigation systems that revealed the extent of their galactic empire. Supreme Chancellor Kelthara received reports from Admiral Zorteth describing the complete failure of invasion forces against Deathworld inhabitants who had proven impossible to defeat. The human fleet that appeared in Zephyrian space consisted of captured Empire vessels operated by crews who had learned to function in conditions that would kill most civilized beings. Kelthara stared at sensor readings that showed human ships approaching his sterile climate. Controlled paradise. While his military advisors argued about defensive strategies, the Zephyrian homeworld represented everything that humans had never possessed, including stable weather patterns, breathable atmosphere, and an environment free from deadly predators. Human forces could survive indefinitely in captured alien vessels, while Zephyrian crews required complex life support systems that Earth bacteria treated as elaborate buffet meals. The surrender came when Zephyrian leadership realized that humans could operate their own captured technology more effectively than its original creators. Dr. Lisa Martinez now headed Earth's Xenobiology division while establishing research stations throughout the solar system using alien technology, adapted for human crews. Her teams discovered that Earth had been classified as a death world, not because it was hostile to life, but because it was hostile to weak life forms. Humans represented 4 billion years of evolutionary pressure that had created the ultimate survivors capable of thriving in any environment while treating advanced technology as useful tools. The revelation spread throughout the galaxy as other alien civilizations learned about the Zephyrian defeat and began approaching Earth with diplomatic overtures rather than invasion plans. Within 5 years, human mercenaries and survival specialists became the most sought-after experts in galactic civilization as advanced species discovered they needed help surviving in hostile environments. Former construction worker Tony Rodriguez established the first human military academy on Mars, while teaching alien species how to adapt their technology for use in dangerous conditions. Kate Morrison founded an interstellar security company that provided protection services for alien colonies threatened by environmental hazards that would have been minor inconveniences on Earth. The galaxy's understanding of technological development changed completely as civilizations realized that environmental pressure created capabilities that could not be achieved through advanced engineering. Alone, Earth's official classification changed from Death World to Fortress World, not because the planet became less dangerous, but because the galaxy finally understood that its inhabitants had mastered danger itself. Human colonies spread throughout nearby star systems as Earth technology proved superior to alien designs when operating in hostile environments that resembled home conditions. The Zephyrian Empire negotiated mutual defense treaties while learning survival techniques from the species they had originally intended to exterminate. Commander Vexithara became an ambassador working to establish diplomatic relations between his people and the Deathworld inhabitants who had revolutionized galactic military science. The final irony emerged when Zephyrian colonies began requesting human advisors to help them survive on planets that their own technology deemed uninhabitable. Earth had achieved galactic prominence not through superior numbers or advanced weapons, but through sheer adaptability that allowed humans to succeed where other civilizations failed. The species that had been dismissed as primitive, savages now taught the galaxy that true strength came from surviving impossible conditions rather than avoiding them entirely. 3 weeks into what should have been a simple invasion, Admiral Zorteth stared at casualty reports that defied everything he understood about military science and technological superiority. Zephyrian losses had reached levels normally associated with major galactic wars, while human resistance continued to grow stronger, despite lacking advanced weapons or numerical advantages. The Deathworld inhabitants seemed to possess an inexplicable ability to turn every disadvantage into an advantage, while adapting to alien technology faster than Empire scientists could develop countermeasures. Captain Lucy Chen led a desperate assault on a damaged Zephyrian command vessel that had been forced to land near the New Mexico desert after suffering catastrophic system failures. Her team now included pilot Alex Turner, communications specialist Maria Santos, engineer Ben Parker, and a growing number of volunteers who had joined the resistance effort. The capture operation required precise timing. Because the alien crew was attempting to repair their ship while calling for evacuation support from orbital forces, Ben Parker had developed electromagnetic pulse devices using components salvaged from crashed alien fighters, while Maria Santos coordinated with global resistance networks through encrypted quantum communications. The assault succeeded when human forces used Earth's extreme temperature variations to their advantage, as the desert heat caused additional failures in alien environmental systems inside the captured command vessel. Captain Chen's team discovered the fundamental weakness that explained Zephyrian vulnerability to Earth's supposedly primitive defenders. Alien life support systems were designed for sterile, controlled environments and had no defense against Earth's aggressive bacterial ecosystems that treated everything as potential food sources. Dr. Hannah Brooks received the captured biological samples and immediately began working with microbiologist Dr. Ben Parker to develop weapons that could exploit this critical vulnerability. Earth's microscopic life forms attacked alien technology with the same relentless determination that had allowed them to survive in every possible environment on the planet. Within hours of exposure to Earth bacteria, Zephyrian ships began experiencing system failures as aggressive microorganisms consumed everything from hull sealants to electronic components. The biological warfare breakthrough spread through resistance networks as local scientists learned to weaponize everything from pond scum to household mold against technologically superior invaders. Meanwhile, global resistance coordination improved dramatically as regional leaders shared intelligence and resources through networks that alien forces could neither locate nor decode. In Tokyo, engineer Amy Tanaka developed electromagnetic pulse weapons using salvaged alien technology combined with Earth's naturally occurring magnetic field fluctuations, Her devices could disable Zephyrian electronics at significant distances while remaining undetectable to alien sensors because they used quantum principles that Empire scientists had never encountered. In Moscow, former military specialist Dan Volkov organized coordinated strikes against alien supply convoys using tactics adapted from urban warfare combined with captured alien weapons. The combination of human military experience and alien technology created hybrid forces that could match Zephyrian capabilities while operating in environments lethal to the invaders. Commander Velkoth reported complete breakdown of invasion timetables as human resistance demonstrated capabilities that violated every assumption about primitive technological development. Alien forces found themselves fighting an enemy that learned from every encounter while constantly developing new weapons and tactics using principles that seemed to defy scientific logic. The Zephyrian retreat to orbital positions failed. When human forces captured enough alien spacecraft to begin pursuing them beyond Earth's atmosphere. Sam Rodriguez led the first human space assault using retrofitted alien technology that had been modified to function with Earth's aggressive bacterial ecosystems. His hybrid fleet included captured Zephyrian fighters equipped with biological weapons that could contaminate entire alien vessels within minutes of successful delivery. The space battle revealed that human adaptability extended beyond planetary environments as Earth crews learned to operate in vacuum conditions using improvised life support systems. Zephyrian commanders discovered that humans could survive in space longer than most civilized species, while showing no fear of the deadly radiation and temperature extremes. Each captured alien vessel provided additional technology and intelligence about Empire military capabilities, while demonstrating that advanced equipment was useless without properly trained operators. Human engineers reverse-engineered Zephyrian propulsion systems while improving their efficiency using principles derived from Earth's chaotic environmental conditions. The modifications created hybrid technology that performed better than original alien designs because human engineers had experience making equipment function in hostile conditions. General Mordek made a desperate decision to use Earth's own environment against the humans by triggering volcanic activity and severe weather patterns through orbital bombardment. The plan backfired spectacularly when human populations adapted to the new conditions within days, while Zephyrian forces suffered additional equipment failures from the increased environmental stress. Volcanic ash disrupted alien sensors, while electromagnetic storms caused by the bombardment created natural cover for human military operations. Dr. Lisa Martinez discovered that the geological disruption had exposed additional tachyon deposits that could power human space operations for decades. Her deep-sea research team now operated captured alien submarines while using Earth's crushing ocean depths to test captured technology under extreme conditions. Pete Collins developed underwater manufacturing facilities that could produce hybrid human-alien weapons while remaining hidden from orbital surveillance. The ocean environment that had initially terrified Zephyrian scouts became humanity's secret weapon as underwater bases proliferated along every coastline. Amy Foster coordinated global underwater operations while human naval forces learned to operate captured alien vessels in conditions that would crush most civilized beings. Resistance networks discovered that Earth's bacterial ecosystems could be trained to attack specific alien materials while leaving human technology completely unaffected. The biological weapons program expanded rapidly as every major population center developed local production capabilities using readily available Earth microorganisms. Zephyrian medical teams struggled with equipment failures caused by biological contamination, while their evacuation procedures broke down under constant human pressure. Admiral Zorteth faced the impossible situation of losing a war against supposedly primitive opponents who had turned every aspect of their hostile planet into weapons against technologically superior invaders. The deathworld that Empire scouts had dismissed as worthless was proving to be the ultimate military academy where every resident had earned advanced degrees in survival warfare. The Zephyrian High Command received detailed reports about the impossible encounter with deathworld inhabitants who had not only survived space travel, but had somehow managed to damage a patrol craft using primitive technology. General Mordek presented his analysis to the assembled military leaders, arguing that humans represented an existential threat to the Empire because any species capable of developing spaceflight while living on a death world possessed dangerous capabilities. These bipeds could master interplanetary travel while constantly fighting their hostile environment. They might eventually develop weapons powerful enough to challenge Zephyrian supremacy across the galaxy. The decision came down to eliminating the threat before it could grow stronger, while the humans remained confined to their single planet and lacked the numbers to mount an effective defense. Admiral Zorteth reluctantly agreed to authorize a limited invasion designed to destroy human military capabilities while avoiding the worst hazards of the deathworld environment. The first wave targeted major population centers, where Zephyrian intelligence believed the humans concentrated their military and industrial resources, making them vulnerable to coordinated orbital bombardment. Zephyrian commanders expected swift victory against primitive savages who relied on crude weapons and lacked the advanced technology necessary to resist a properly organized military campaign. Invasion fleet entered Earth's atmosphere, confident that superior firepower and tactical coordination would overwhelm any resistance the Deathworld inhabitants could organize. They discovered their first mistake when human air defense systems activated, revealing that the bipeds possessed more sophisticated military technology than their initial assessments had indicated. Surface-to-air missiles launched from hidden positions, while electromagnetic interference disrupted Zephyrian navigation, systems forcing their ships to rely on visual targeting methods. Tony Rodriguez was working a construction site in New York when the alien ships appeared overhead, raining energy beams down on the city while people screamed and ran for shelter. His knowledge of the subway tunnels and building layouts became invaluable as he organized civilian evacuation routes that avoided the main streets where alien patrols concentrated their forces. The construction crew used their heavy equipment to create barriers and obstacles that channeled alien ground troops into prepared ambush positions where human defenders could engage them effectively. Underground tunnels provided safe movement corridors, while the complex urban environment made it impossible for aliens to use their advanced weapons without destroying valuable infrastructure. Kate Morrison received emergency activation orders while watching the news reports from her home in London as alien forces landed in major cities around the world. Her SAS training kicked in immediately as she contacted former teammates Danny Price and Sophie Clark to coordinate resistance operations against the technologically superior invaders. Sophie's computer programming skills proved essential when she managed to hack into alien communication networks, discovering that their encryption methods were vulnerable to human quantum computers. The alien forces had prepared for conventional warfare against primitive opponents, but found themselves fighting an asymmetrical campaign against defenders who used every available advantage. Human military units adapted their tactics to exploit the urban environment, while civilian populations provided intelligence and logistical support that confused alien. Commanders Dr. Lisa Martinez and her research team found themselves in a unique position to analyze alien technology when several Zephyrian aircraft crashed into the ocean during the initial assault. Engineer Pete Collins discovered that alien systems were designed for sterile environments and began failing when exposed to Earth's corrosive atmosphere for extended periods. Salt spray from the ocean, combined with industrial pollutants, created a chemical mixture that ate through alien hull plating, while electromagnetic storms disrupted their communication systems. The deep-sea research equipment that had detected alien presence months earlier now provided the tools necessary to salvage crashed ships and reverse engineer their technology. Amy Foster used her oceanographic expertise to locate crash sites, while Pete Collins developed underwater recovery systems that could operate in conditions lethal to alien crews. Human defenders quickly learned that Zephyrian soldiers required environmental suits to survive on Earth, while their equipment functioned poorly in high humidity and extreme temperatures. Military strategists realized they could use Earth's hostile environment as a weapon against invaders who had evolved in controlled conditions and lacked natural immunity to environmental hazards. Acid rain caused by industrial pollution dissolved alien armor, while viral and bacterial infections spread through their ranks faster than their medical systems could treat them. The aliens discovered that their energy weapons were less effective in Earth's dense atmosphere, while human projectile weapons could penetrate their shields using kinetic energy. Improvised explosive devices made from industrial chemicals created toxic clouds that forced alien troops to retreat, while electromagnetic pulse weapons disabled their advanced electronics. Regional resistance groups began coordinating their efforts through ham radio networks that alien forces could not decode because they used outdated technology and local dialects. Construction workers, miners, and farmers proved surprisingly effective at guerrilla warfare because their daily jobs had prepared them to work in hazardous conditions using improvised tools. Human psychology also created unexpected problems for alien commanders who had never encountered a species willing to sacrifice individual lives for abstract concepts like freedom and national identity. Zephyrian troops became demoralized when their supposedly primitive opponents continued fighting despite suffering heavy casualties while using tactics that violated all conventional military doctrine. The deathworld environment that aliens had feared turned out to be humanity's greatest advantage, as every human had spent their entire life adapting to conditions that would kill most galactic species. Bacterial weapons developed by human scientists used Earth's aggressive microorganisms to contaminate alien life support systems, causing equipment failures that stranded invasion forces. Commander Velkoth reported to Admiral Zorteth that human resistance was far more organized and effective than anyone had predicted, while alien casualties mounted with each passing day. The invasion that should have lasted weeks was stretching into months, while human defenders demonstrated an ability to adapt their tactics faster than alien forces could counter them. Dr. Hannah Brooks, working with military researchers, developed electromagnetic weapons that exploited weaknesses in alien technology while using principles derived from Earth's magnetic field fluctuations. The planet's natural radiation levels that had initially concerned Zephyrian scouts now provided cover for human communications while disrupting alien sensor networks. Every day the invasion continued gave humans more time to study captured alien equipment while learning to turn advanced technology against its creators. Zephyrian medical teams struggled to treat injuries caused by Earth's biological agents, while their supply lines came under constant attack by human forces using captured alien weapons. The death world that Empire scouts had dismissed as worthless was proving to be the perfect training ground for a species of warriors who could adapt to any challenge. 3 months passed before the Zephyrian Empire faced an energy crisis that threatened to collapse their entire civilization, as their primary fuel source began running dangerously low across all their controlled territories. Crystallized tachyon deposits that powered everything from personal devices to massive starships were becoming scarce, while their mining operations struggled to locate new sources fast enough to meet the growing demands of their expanding empire. Long-range sensors detected massive tachyon signatures emanating from the asteroid belt in the Sol system, creating an opportunity that could solve their fuel problems for the next 1,000 years if they could establish successful mining operations. Admiral Zorteth reviewed the survey reports about the Death World with obvious reluctance because establishing mining stations near such a dangerous planet violated every safety protocol in the Empire's extensive military handbook. The asteroid belt contained enough crystallized tachyon to power the entire Zephyrian fleet for generations. But accessing these resources would require maintaining a permanent presence uncomfortably close to the hostile planet and its unpredictable inhabitants' mining equipment. And personnel would need protection from both the Death World's environmental hazards and the possibility that the primitive bipeds might notice their operations and attempt some kind of aggressive response. Zordeth approved a limited mining operation, with strict orders to maintain maximum distance from the planet while monitoring the surface for any signs that the native species had detected their presence. If the Deathworld inhabitants showed any awareness of Zephyrian activities, the entire operation would be abandoned immediately, regardless of how much valuable fuel remained in the asteroid belt. Dr. Ryan Murphy sat in the Arecibo Observatory during his routine night shift, scanning radio frequencies for any unusual signals when his equipment detected something that made him double-check his calibration settings. The readings showed artificial energy patterns unlike anything in their databases, while the source appeared to be moving through space in the outer regions of their solar system where no human technology had ever ventured. His colleague, Dr. Hannah Brooks, arrived within an hour to verify the measurements using independent equipment that confirmed the signals were definitely artificial and appeared to be some form of advanced communication system. They immediately contacted NASA Director Colonel Jake Williams, who authorized implementation of first contact protocols that had been developed decades earlier but never expected to be used in actual situations. The initial message broadcast toward the signal source used mathematical concepts and simple pictographs designed to demonstrate human intelligence while avoiding any content that might be interpreted as threatening or aggressive. Meanwhile, the Zephyrian mining crews detected the radio transmission and immediately interpreted it as some kind of territorial warning system used by the Deathworld inhabitants to claim ownership of the asteroid belt commander Vel Koth, who supervised the mining operation, ordered his ships to maintain even greater distance from the planet while increasing their scanning intensity to monitor for additional threatening behavior. The mathematical sequences in the human message convinced the Zephyrians that the bipeds possessed more sophisticated technology than their initial surveys had indicated, while the timing suggested they were already aware of the mining operation. Captain Lucy Chen received orders to lead an investigation mission aboard the spacecraft. New Horizons, using experimental propulsion systems that could reach the outer solar system in record time. Her crew included pilot Alex Turner, communications specialist Maria Santos, and engineer Ben Parker, who worked together to prepare their ship for humanity's first contact with an alien civilization. The New Horizons launched 3 days later, carrying peaceful intentions and scientific equipment designed to gather information about the mysterious signals while demonstrating human capabilities. To any watching alien observers, Zephyrian patrol craft detected the human vessel almost immediately, and panic spread through their command structure as they realized the Deathworld inhabitants had somehow mastered space travel. The sight of a spacecraft, launching from such a hostile planet, defied everything the Zephyrians understood about technological development, because no civilized species should be able to survive long enough to achieve spaceflight in such conditions. Commander Velkoth contacted Admiral Zorteth requesting immediate instructions because the situation had evolved far beyond their original mission parameters and threatened to become a major diplomatic incident. Zorteth ordered the patrol craft to intercept the human vessel and convince them to return to their planet through a show of superior technology that would demonstrate Zephyrian military capabilities without actually causing harm. The first encounter occurred when 3 Zephyrian patrol ships surrounded the New Horizons while broadcasting warning signals designed to convince the humans to retreat back to their dangerous homeworld. Captain Chen tried to establish communication using universal mathematical concepts, while her crew prepared their experimental defensive systems in case the alien ships proved hostile. The Zephyrians interpreted the human communication attempts as sophisticated threat analysis, while their sensors detected energy patterns that suggested the primitive vessel possessed unexpectedly advanced defensive capabilities. When the lead Zephyrian ship fired a warning shot across the New Horizons' bow, the human crew activated their experimental shield generators that managed to deflect the energy beam. The successful defense shocked the Zephyrian patrol crews, who had never encountered any technology capable of withstanding their weapons, especially from a species that supposedly lived on a deathworld. Captain Chen ordered an immediate retreat while her communications officer transmitted detailed records of the encounter back to Earth, where military and scientific leaders began preparing for possible invasion. The Zephyrian patrol commander reported to Admiral Zorteth that the Deathworld inhabitants possessed military technology capable of resisting Empire weapons, while their ability to launch spacecraft suggested much greater capabilities than originally assessed. Admiral Zorteth faced an impossible decision between abandoning the valuable tachyon deposits and risking a military confrontation with an unknown species that had somehow survived in conditions that would kill most galactic civilizations. The human retreat convinced many Zephyrian commanders that the bipeds were testing their defenses while gathering intelligence about Empire technology and military capabilities. General Mordek argued that the Deathworld inhabitants represented a potential threat to Empire security and should be eliminated before they could develop more advanced weapons or spread beyond their hostile planet. The Zephyrian High Command reviewed all available data about Earth and its inhabitants while debating whether to treat the humans as a minor annoyance or a serious threat to galactic stability. Dr. Murphy and Dr. Brooks continued monitoring alien communications, while Colonel Williams coordinated with military leaders around the world to prepare Earth's defenses for possible retaliation. The alien signals had stopped completely after the encounter, suggesting that the extraterrestrial visitors were either planning their next move or had decided to avoid further contact with humanity. Captain Chen's crew analyzed the alien weapon that had struck their shields, discovering technology far more advanced than anything humans had developed, while also identifying potential weaknesses in the alien design. The successful defense of the New Horizons proved that human ingenuity could compete with superior alien technology when combined with desperate determination and willingness to take calculated risks. Both species now knew they were not alone in the galaxy, while each side prepared for possibilities ranging from peaceful cooperation to total warfare, depending on the actions of their respective leadership. The stage was set for a confrontation that would test whether human adaptability could overcome advanced alien technology, or if the Zephyrian Empire would succeed in eliminating what they perceived as a dangerous threat to galactic order. Commander Vexithera stared at the data screen with growing horror as the numbers continued to update themselves with each passing moment, making the situation worse than anyone could have imagined when they first detected this solar system from across the galaxy. The third planet from the local star showed readings that made even the most experienced Zephyrian scouts shake their heads in disbelief, because nothing should be able to survive in such a hostile environment, yet the sensors clearly indicated abundant life covering every surface of this nightmarish world. Gravity readings showed a crushing force nearly 3 times what most civilized species could tolerate for more than a few minutes without their bones breaking and their internal organs failing under the immense pressure that constantly pulled everything toward the planet's core with relentless determination. The atmosphere composition made Vexithera's breathing apparatus work harder, just thinking about it. because the air contained a highly corrosive gas called oxygen that would burn through Zephyrian lung tissue in seconds, while also supporting massive fires that could consume entire continents if left unchecked by the planet's violent weather. Systems Intelligence Officer Krelnox approached the commander's station with additional sensor data that only made the situation look worse as he began reading from his portable device with obvious concern written across his pale blue features. Weather patterns showed massive storm systems that generated electrical discharges powerful enough to destroy starships, while winds reached velocities that could tear apart reinforced metal structures and hurl debris across vast distances at speeds that defied comprehension. The planet's magnetic field fluctuated wildly, causing radiation levels to spike and drop in patterns that would scramble navigation systems and cook any unprotected life forms unlucky enough to be caught in the open during one of these electromagnetic storms. Temperature variations ranged from frozen wastelands where gases turned solid to boiling deserts where metals melted under the intense heat from the local star, combined with volcanic activity that constantly reshaped the planet's surface through violent eruptions. Ocean composition analysis revealed water so contaminated with salt and other minerals that it would dehydrate most known life forms within hours, while massive waves generated by the planet's oversized moon created walls of liquid death that could crush cities. Biological scans detected countless species of creatures that seemed designed specifically to kill and consume other living things with toxins powerful enough to stop multiple hearts and digestive systems capable of breaking down almost any organic material, including bones and cartilage. Plants grew with thorns longer than Zephyrian fingers, while some varieties actually moved to capture and dissolve prey using acids that could eat through ship hull plating in a matter of minutes according to the chemical analysis provided by their advanced sensors. Microscopic life forms swarmed in numbers that exceeded the computational capacity of their scanning equipment. While many of these tiny organisms appeared capable of invading host bodies and destroying them from within through disease processes that defied medical understanding, seismic activity showed a planet constantly trying to tear itself apart through earthquakes and volcanic eruptions that released gases and molten rock that would sterilize any area unfortunate enough to be nearby when these geological events occurred with frightening regularity. The dominant species somehow managed to exist in this hellscape, despite having no natural defenses against the countless threats surrounding them every moment of their brief lives, which typically lasted less than 100 standard galactic years. These bipedal creatures had no claws or fangs or armor plating or poison glands or any of the obvious survival adaptations that should be necessary to live on such a dangerous world, yet they had spread across every continent and even ventured into the deadly oceans. Their technology appeared primitive by galactic standards as they still burned fossil fuels and generated power through controlled explosions, while their transportation methods involved hurtling through the air in metal containers that regularly fell from the sky. Krelnox pointed out that the creatures engaged in organized violence against their own species, using weapons designed to cause maximum damage, while fighting over resources that were abundant enough to support their entire population, if properly distributed. Social structure analysis indicated they divided themselves into competing groups based on arbitrary characteristics like skin color and geographic location, while maintaining complex belief systems that often contradicted observable reality. Despite all these obvious flaws and the hostile environment they inhabited, the sensor readings showed their population continued to grow while they developed increasingly sophisticated methods of manipulating their surroundings. Dr. Lisa, Martinez descended into the deep ocean aboard her research vessel, completely unaware that alien eyes watched her every movement from high above as she collected samples from previously unexplored depths. Her team, including engineer Pete Collins and oceanographer Amy Foster, worked methodically to document the strange formations they had discovered during their routine survey of the Mariana Trench, where water pressure should have crushed any known life forms. The geometric structures visible on their sonar equipment did not match any known geological processes, while their composition appeared to be some kind of crystalline material that reflected their scanning beams in unusual patterns. Pete Collins adjusted the submarine's lights to get a better view of the formations, while Amy Foster recorded everything through multiple camera angles, hoping to capture evidence that would convince the scientific community back on the surface. Their discovery would soon attract attention from organizations far beyond the marine biology community, but for now they focused on their immediate mission of exploring Earth's most remote and dangerous environments. Commander Vexithara made the final decision based on all available data. As he updated the Galactic database with Earth's new classification as a Class 9 deathworld, with strict warnings to avoid the system entirely, the hairless bipeds represented just another dangerous native species, like the countless predators, poisonous plants, and deadly microorganisms that made the planet unsuitable for colonization or resource extraction according to standard Empire protocols. No rational commander would risk valuable personnel and equipment attempting to establish any kind of presence on a world where simply breathing the air would kill most civilized beings within minutes. The red classification would ensure that no Zephyrian vessel approached the Sol system for at least 100 standard years, giving the Empire time to develop proper protective equipment if they ever decided the system's resources were worth the extreme risk. Vexithara sealed the report and transmitted it to Empire Command, completely confident that he had accurately assessed the threat level posed by this insignificant planet and its primitive inhabitants, who somehow managed to survive in conditions that would destroy advanced civilizations. The survey ship departed the Sol system without making contact or alerting the planet's inhabitants to their presence, following standard procedures for dealing with dangerous worlds containing potentially hostile life forms. Neither Vexithara nor his crew could imagine that their assessment, while technically accurate, had missed the most important factor that would determine the fate of the Zephyrian Empire when circumstances eventually forced them to return to this seemingly worthless death world.